Simon, now winning that, obviously it sent shockwaves around the PSA World Tour. The aftermath is interesting for me. How was the feeling when you got back to Paderborn and back to Germany, and you know, just take us through a little bit, because I've seen a little bit on social media of what you were tweeting about, but how was it?
It was quite crazy, really. I didn't really have the time to actually let it sink, the whole feeling. I came back home, went straight back on court, played for Paderborn in the Bundesliga. Of course, what else would you do? So yeah, it was. I got so many messages. I heard from so many people who have been following my career throughout the years and been waking up at night at 3 o'clock to like follow my finals, semis, quarters. Like it was crazy. Like I couldn't actually believe how much support there is from back home. So yeah, it was. I came home, played Bundesliga. On the Monday, I was invited by the mayor of Paderborn to sign into the Golden Book of Paderborn, which was quite funny because he actually called me at 3 in the morning after I won the tournament. So I guess he didn't really think about that it was the time change, and he invited me for that. So which was quite honorably for me. And yeah, so after that I had some time, a few days, to actually realize the whole thing, what happened there, which was quite really amazing. I mean, that's something I would have never thought of before. I came into the tournament with a first round opponent of Daryl Selby, who I haven't beaten before. so actually, like seeing the draw beforehand and then kind of hoping to get through the first 1-2 rounds, obviously knowing that I've got Marwan El-Shorbagy in the second round, who was runner-up and Pakistan Open champion. So I didn't actually think about winning it. I was just going to go into the tournament, play my best squash, enjoy it as much as I can. I said it a few times before. With that semi-final in Qatar, I think that has changed a lot.
Your mindset?
My mindset, how I approach the tournaments, how the confidence that I nowadays have more than I used to have before, and I think that's playing a big role in a squash player's life, or in general athlete's life. If you have that kind of blockage in your head that you've been to that quarterfinal stage so often, you always lose, you keep losing in that kind of stage, and then you finally make it. That's just something that takes so much pressure off you, and you can just go into the tournaments with a different feeling, with a different mindset, with the confidence of actually being able to beat those guys. And yeah, I think that was the biggest change that has made Qatar especially, and then obviously with the win in New York as well.
Simon, what's fascinating for me, having watched you and played you when you were younger and everything else, but watched you coming through and battling into those quarterfinal stages, getting so close to these top players, not quite making it, was it coming into the tournament champions? Daryl Selby, as you said, you'd never beaten him. It was 8-0 in the head-to-head up until that event. So you converted against him. You'd never beaten Gregory Gaultier ever on the PSA World Tour, and you converted against him. And it's like all those hard years of you battling and trying, it was like somebody was also looking upon you up there and letting you shine in that one event to just literally close out all those negatives.
All those negatives, yeah. Yeah, that's kind of the feeling that you kind of get when you're in that stage of the tournament, and you think, oh, now actually everything comes together. Like all those years where you've been waiting for so long, like for those results, they actually come now all in that 1 week. Yeah, as you said, it's that's a special thing about really what happened in New York, because I've said it before, I've been coming back to that tournament 13 years in a row, and I've started off in the qualification, and I just wanted to make that like class court first round to actually be on that stage, and then you can't choose a better place of getting that first win on a World Series tournament in New York. And as you said, I think it's kind of interesting how these things happen, really, because
it's encouragement, isn't it, for all those people that are battling away and trying to get through, that it can happen like that.
And nothing is impossible, really. Like looking at the draw and looking at how I was seeded. I wasn't even seeded actually for that tournament. So getting as an unseeded player, actually moving through all those rounds, and that's a sign of basically that anything is possible in sports, and that's what you keep seeing also in different sports, like in tennis, for example, in Australian Open, you see people coming up and who you haven't actually seen before on that kind of stage, and they get to the semis.
Do you watch a lot of other sports? Do you follow a lot of other sports?
Well, I did, for example, now the Australian Open while in New York, actually fitted quite well into the schedule, and I try to follow, but I'm mostly concentrated on squash. Really, I love watching squash. I love watching Eurosport players, SQUASHTV. I keep watching also my matches.
Well, you've learned so much. It's such a good tool, isn't it, to learn?
Yeah, it's awesome. It's awesome because you can put it on a 55-incher back home, lie on the couch.
Not as big as PJ's, but you know.
Has he got a bigger one?
He's got a bigger one.
Really? PJ. And I think it's a good learning tool, as you said.
Do you watch do you sometimes, when you come back, will you watch matches through with your coach back home and
mostly on my own, actually. Really? Yeah, I mostly watch it on my own. I also like to watch, like I did now, for example, before my first round, I played against Declan, who I haven't actually watched that much before. I played him, I think, once before only in Qatar a few years back, and that's actually perfect to kind of get an idea of what's going to happen, really, in the match. So I'm trying to use it every once in a while if I feel like I can learn something of it. I'm not watching all the matches, of course not, but I'm trying to pick certain matches where I think that could be quite valuable for the future.
Yeah, I mean, your game, I mean, it obviously it clicked for you, but what stood out is you've been working so much on your short game, which is really come into fruition now, but what's equally impressive for me now is your defensive game, because you always were all out attack, you know, the blitzkrieg, you know, the fast play and taking the ball early, and you now using that front wall. And with that situation, have you been watching some of the older players, and what suddenly after all this time you're now starting to kind of use the whole court? I mean, it's
actually I knew my game was always very attacking and very physical. And there were a few guys, including my coaches, including actually you, who were telling me a few years back already that that's the kind of game where you will get eventually tired. So I knew I had to work on that kind of scenario where I get tired, like I did before, like also in New York, where I just try to kind of use the whole front wall, as you said, trying to use those lobs, getting some time, winning some time to then being able to then attack again. So I think I got a good mixture at the moment, and I think that's a really big part of the success that I had in the last couple of weeks.
To us, it's becoming, for you, for Simon Rosner, your complete game. It's becoming very evident because you have your trademark, and then you have this other plan, which is, you know, it's fantastic to see you evolve. Just for the viewers as well, because I'm always fascinated about weights of players, you know, heights. We talk about the heavyweights. I mean, Tarek Moment, you know, so light and everything. What is your actual weight in kilograms? Don't be shy.
I'm actually pretty heavy. I think I'm 90 kilos.
90. Yeah. So that's about 14 stone.
I don't know how much that is.
We talk stone and pounds.
So I actually go onto the scale quite often back home. I actually try to kind of have that in my eye, like to know what my status is, like because you can have in the summertime as well, or when you don't, or Christmas time when you go back home to the parents, you know, you have some cakes and you have some Lebkuchen and some Plätzchen, you know this.
So I know all of it. Anything to do with pastries.
And you can actually you can put it on, but I was in the past I was able to be quite disciplined in that kind of way. So I kind of, even if I gained a little bit, I went back down quite quickly as well.
Disciplined with keeping key on that.
I'm trying to, and I'm not sure, but sometimes I think I could be also maybe a kilo or two lighter, maybe. But that's just like a feeling that I have sometimes.
Yeah, sure.
Because 90 kilos, I mean, as you said, Tarek, he's carrying around how much? 60, 65, and if you have to actually like carry 30 kilos more around in the court in such a tough sport, which is so super intensive, where like I think a player has like an average heart rate of like whatever 165, 170. It's just such a hard sport, and every kilo that you have more and that you have to actually carry around on court with you is actually quite tough. Yeah.
Going into the Tournament of Champions, Daryl Selby, very hard match, 70, 80 minutes. There were rest days for all the rounds up until quarters, lapping into semis. On those rest days, because I mean, in that event, it was hard match after hard match with Nikki, of course, as well.
Exactly.
On those rest days, what would you be doing on those rest days? I mean, it's a full old, you've got a full day to do stuff. What would you?
Like we hear it from other players like Craig, who doesn't like those rest days.
He doesn't know.
He
has no hobbies.
I'm actually.
He
loves his squash, doesn't he?
He
loves his squash. He loves his squash. Yeah, we all do, but he loves it a lot.
He hates it sometimes, but he loves it.
Yeah, we all do. And usually, I'm also that kind of person who doesn't like those rest days. I like to just keep going. I like to stay in the rhythm. So. I'm not having massages on that day as off, obviously. For example, in New York, I had our national coach with us. Yeah. So we went on court. We had actually a proper session. That's almost every day, so like 45 to 1 hour, 45 minutes to 1 hour.
And you haven't really had that as much before because you travel a lot on your own, don't you?
Exactly.
So that was a big difference for you.
Yeah, it does make a big difference. And then also the mental side of things, to actually knowing to have someone sitting out there that you can actually
bounce off of.
Yeah, it's interesting because you got these Egyptians. They have like when they come out of court, they've got like 6, 7 guys coming to them. And usually when I get to the stage of the quarterfinal, most of my guys have left, like Nikki or Nick.
How dairy.
Yeah.
How dairy leads.
Or also Rafi, obviously.
Sure.
So it's sometimes you feel a bit. It sounds weird now, but you feel a bit lonely because you don't actually have someone there. Where, if you look out, it's good to actually have a familiar face there, sitting there. That's just something that you have, like it's like a mental thing, and that helped me a lot actually in New York. I mean, you feel more comfortable because you know you actually also have someone sitting out there who can exactly. And that was a huge thing in New York, and. As I said, I like to have proper sessions on the days off. Even if I had a tough match against Daryl or Marwan or Nikki or Craig, I still went on court at least for 45 minutes, had a proper session, went for the steam room, went for the sauna, tried to recover as good as I can, but at the same time, don't lose the rhythm. You know, that was the most important thing.
Yeah. Now, Simon, going back to the physical side, the preparation, Paderborn is an unbelievable setup. You've got a fantastic training setup there with facilities and also the sports science side of things. Do you get a lot of physio? Do you get a lot of massage when you're back there to look after your powerful frame? Yeah,
it's funny as you say it, because I've been doing that more and more lately. Obviously, when you get older, you have to look more into that kind of things. I didn't do that like the first couple. No, not at all. I didn't. I mean, okay, to start off, I've so far never been injured. So, knock on wood. I've actually never.
Knock on my head if you want. Cheers, mate.
So I've actually never been injured. So I'm also the kind of person who goes into a tournament, and for example now, let's say after a tough match, I'm not the kind of person who goes to the physio and gets a massage. Yeah. Because I actually like the kind of tension in my muscles.
You like them to be quite tense.
I like them to be quite tense. Yeah. Because if I get a massage, I feel too relaxed. I don't have that kind of body tension anymore. Yeah. So, which is maybe weird for some people, but
That's Peter Nichols the same.
Yeah.
Yeah, he used to like that feeling in his muscles because it felt he could push.
I like to go to the physio to get like maybe like hip mobilization or like get stretching done or stuff like that. But like massage for me is like not. Maybe if I go back home after a tournament, I can have it if I have like, let's say 1-2 days off. Yeah. But not in a tournament. So, but as you said, we have such a great setup in Paderborn. We have doctors, we got physios, we got coaches, we got physical coaches, we got everything that you actually need to be
lucky boy.
Lucky boy, exactly. And I think, yeah, that's also been playing a big part in my career. I've said it many times before, but that decision 13 years ago to move from the bakery city of my father to Paderborn to actually get better in squash, that was the best decision I've done.
Yeah, well, it's fantastic to see you doing so well on the PSA World Tour, and you know, we all wish you the best of luck with the rest of the season and the up and coming events.
Thank you. Thanks, Joey.